We're live?
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Triple Threat Show. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus, joined as always by my two friends and co hosts.
Shane Brisland.
And
Hayden Raymer.
we appreciate you guys coming in and watching. We actually are live today.
Are we live? Let's
So
go.
we are live. I'm checking this out right now. We are
Let's
live.
go. I did it right this time.
You did. A quick little behind the scenes thing. We did a show
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago or was it last week? Whatever.
I don't remember.
We did a show a couple weeks, 2 weeks ago. But if you go check the YouTube, it's not there, and that's because the go live button decided to just not work. So we sat here and had a nice little talk for you guys for an
For
hour and a
us.
half that you guys didn't get to see. That's part of the reason why we haven't posted in a month now. Now that housekeeping's out of the way, how are you guys doing? How's your week been?
I'll go first here. It was last week I turned 21, so my family went on a family vacation to Vegas where we proceeded to lose a lot of money.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So after that experience, I'm not too fond of gambling. I'm kind of scared to lose any more money now. Like I was so excited to sports bet, and then after losing money on blackjack and roulette.
Well, that's where you messed up.
You should have put it all in sports betting.
Yeah.
You should have put it all on some random baseball line that you don't understand.
No. You should have put it on what is it? What's the thing it's on the news? It's like the Russian table tennis or whatever.
Oh yeah. You got to put Chinese basketball.
You got to put it on cricket, but it's not an actual cricket match. It's the fake one that they're scamming people with.
What?
You didn't hear about that?
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, then there was like guys pretending they were like in a professional cricket league. They had like a whole announcer and everything. They had a live stream for it and everything. But it was unreal. Like it was all fake and like they were just profiting off rigging the matches. It was pretty fun.
That's
I think they got arrested.
Hilarious.
Don't do that at home.
Yeah.
What about you, Hayden? How you been?
I'm tired. I work a lot. I worked like 86 hours the past 2 weeks. And then I worked 45 this week. But I'm going on vacation. Going to the beach. Gonna see my aunts for the first time.
Which beach?
Outer Banks.
Oh, those are nice. Yeah.
It's a good beach.
Big fan.
It's gonna be the first time I'm gonna see my aunts since I was in either the 5th or the 6th grade. So it's been a minute. So I'm very excited. To hang out with some family. Right. Don't have to work. That's the real one. And I got paid today, so it's just all around a great day.
It's a good day.
It's a great day.
Well, the big story of this week and a couple days beforehand is the MLB Trade Deadline that ended. Obviously, the big story there is the Juan Soto and Josh Bell to the Padres.
Kind of a big thing.
It's a huge deal, massive deal. 23 years old, Juan Soto is traded. Hayden, I don't know. I don't know if this was a good trade or not. I don't know any of these prospects. I don't like Luke Voigt, and Mackenzie Gore is hurt. But I don't know any of these prospects. So please let me know. Is this a good trade?
Well, that's a loaded question. Okay.
No. This is why we pay you the big bucks.
This is it's a loaded question. So.
Should we put some context behind the trade too? Because had the ownership wanted to get rid of him. So that's from what I've read. It seemed like
the owners of the Nationals are selling the team.
Yeah.
And rumor has it, according to reports, however you want to phrase it, whoever people that they've talked to about selling the team, none of them really wanted to have their first action being potentially trading away Juan Soto if they couldn't work out an extension with him.
Right.
So they kind of wanted to have that done before and taken care of before they came into town. That's issue number one. Issue number two, and I don't know how to put this. So my theory is, right, Jeremy, you pay attention to baseball too a little bit. Shane, not as much, but Juan Soto wanted to be the first $500 million man. That is my opinion. I think because of just that's kind of like the narrative that's surrounded him for so long, I don't think he was going to take anything less.
He deserved it too.
Yeah, no, he deserves it. I mean, his on-the-field production has, would probably match up with, where that would be a fair contract. And I think he just wanted to be the first $500 million man. And I don't think the Nats front office thought he was worth it, or don't think that, that's kind of how they want to build the team. That, and, they made, it's non-competitive offers, really, in my opinion, that they made to him. And so you're kind of just in that spot where, yeah, you have to trade him. You have really no choice. Trading him now is going to net you the best prospect package, and so that's what they did. And now they got, Luke Voit, which, weren't even supposed to get Luke Voit. We'll talk about that a little bit. They got C.J. Abrams, a shortstop prospect, who, he's not even really a prospect anymore. He had his rookie debut this year. He's 22. Struggled a bit, but, he's also 22. He's a really fast. If Nats fans, Trey Turner was kind of the mainstay at shortstop for a while. And he's a little reminiscent of that. He's very fast, great glove, which is, better than what Trey had. We're not sure how he's going to hit yet. He hasn't quite hit yet. You have Mackenzie Gore, who was kind of struggling in the minors. And he was having a great year, one where he looks like he's going to be a frontline starter. The front line of the rotation starter. And then he got hurt. And so that's kind of like a little worrisome. And then you get James Wood, who's like a 19-year-old outfield prospect with an insane ceiling. You get Robert Hassel III, who's also a really young outfield prospect with a really, really high ceiling. And I'm blanking on the third piece in that. Jeremy, do you remember his name?
Nope. I do not.
Jarlin Susano, who, some scouts are saying that he might be the best piece in that trade because he's a 6'8", I think, pitcher who throws like 98 and tops at like 102, and he's only 18. So like the sky's the limit for him. And so like the Nats kind of
probably touch the sky with that height.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways that can work out. And also, at the end of the day, though, these are prospects, People, you could be the number one overall prospect in the game. There's a chance that, you get to the big leagues and you're just, the show's too much for you. And you're not going to be a regular big leaguer, and you're going to struggle. And, that could happen. Juan Soto is a proven commodity. He is pretty much as much of a lock for a Hall of Famer you can be at age 23. He's a generational talent who is compared to the likes of Ted Williams. He's hard to replace. That's all I'm going to say. I hope for the Nats' sake that, you kind of have an amalgamation of players who then become that value. But
it's hard to win trades like those.
You know what bothers me the most?
What bothers you the most, Jeremy?
Other than the fact that we just traded away a generational talent at 23 years old. That one bothers me a lot. But you know what bothers me the most?
What?
The Nats have that they traded away Josh Bell in the same package. Because Josh Bell is a top 10 hitter in the NL on his own, right?
Yeah.
And they've done this 2 years in a row now, right? Where they can get insane value from these guys. They did it. And they just packaged them. They did it with Trey Turner and Max Scherzer, right? They packaged them together to the Dodgers, and now they're packaging together. They're basically the only two assets they have left together to get one big trade instead of getting one big trade and another also pretty big trade from Josh Bell.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna have to explain this to me because it seems like in both of these cases it's just like not really. It's like diminishing the pot, I guess, from what you could possibly get.
Okay, so that Jarlin Susano guy that we were talking about earlier, right? That tall right-handed pitcher. From what I've read, Rizzo in the Nationals front office loved him. Like, they were like, that's who we want. And they're like, yeah, obviously we want RH3 and, James Wood and all that. But, like, this is who we really want. Like, if we can get him, that would be awesome. And, AJ Preller of the San Diego Padres, their GM, was like, I don't know. Like, I kind of would need some more from you guys. Like, I'm having it, not necessarily that. But he's like, I kind of want to hold on to him. I really like him. I'm like, what if we give you Josh Bell too? And he's like, okay, that's you know what? That's killing two birds with one stone. Let's do it. Because, like, the first base situation was not good for the Padres. Luke Voit hasn't hit since he's left Yankee Stadium. Eric Hosmer hasn't hit in the entirety of his contract. And so to, kind of get rid of one of those first basemen and bring in Josh Bell, which they ended up getting rid of both. We can never mind. I don't know where I was going with that thought, but that's kind of what was happening.
You're getting Juan Soto. Why the fuck do you need more?
Well, okay, so here's the thing too. I think this package was a little light. I think top tier talent. Yeah, I'm happy with that. But one of the things that, like, farm systems are always talked about is the farm system depth. And yet, sure, you can have, like, those top two talents, but there's not a whole lot of depth behind it. And that's kind of what they've just done, is they've gotten a lot of top tier talent, but they're not getting that prospect depth that, like, makes a great system. Even if they were getting, there were some names that I tossed around when just talking to other people. One guy I would have liked, Kevin Kopps. I don't know how much. I mean, you guys probably don't know.
I couldn't name a prospect.
Okay, so Kevin Kopps, for those of you who don't know, was an Arizona Diamondback. Not Diamondback. Arizona. Why am brain no work? Arkansas Razorback. Relief pitcher.
One
of the best, like, college relievers, but college relievers aren't really valued very highly. He was also older for his class, so he was dominant. Only really had one pitch. And hasn't really put it together in pro ball yet. Go see if you can get him too, and get somebody who might be a solid back end arm. And he's not someone who's. I mean, relief prospects aren't really, like, valuable per se. Like, very rarely is a reliever prospect like, oh wow, this guy's, we gotta hold on to him and he's untouchable. Like, no, like, you can kind of toss in a Kevin Kopps. You can toss in a guy who I was looking at was Joshua Mears, who's got a ton of power. He can't really hit. And so, that's like a project for the Nationals to kind of fix. I wish they kind of got some more lower tier prospects.
My main thing is, look, I bet you they could have gotten 95% of the package they got with simply Juan Soto, right? It doesn't matter if you package Josh Bell with it, but Josh Bell on his own is worth 2 or 3 prospects. Maybe not 3, but probably 2 prospects.
I think including Josh Bell, yes. I think they should have gotten more, yes. I agree. I don't mind packaging them, but you need to get more.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, they did the same thing with the Dodgers last year. And look, I understand Scherzer had 1 year left on his deal, but he's Max fucking Scherzer, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look, it's Trey Turner. Look, what did they get? They got 3 pro-ready prospects. Is that what they got?
They got 2 MLB ready prospects.
I know they got Kybert and Josiah Gray, and
then they got Donovan Casey, who was a 26-year-old prospect. Who, when you're talking about somebody who's 26 and a prospect,
that's kind of
like an oxymoron.
Yeah. Usually, like 23 is kind of the line for me.
Yeah. So I mean, he was a little bit older, but he's like could have been like a solid 4th outfielder. He has not hit. He hit in last year, but he hasn't hit at all in the minors this year. And then I believe the other guy they got was, let me double check, but I believe it's an Aldo Ramirez. I believe is his name.
Right, but it's the same thing.
And he's been hurt all year, and he hasn't done anything.
They could have gotten more. It infuriates me that the Nats package their superstars like this, right?
Gerardo Carrillo. That's who it is.
You see what other teams do, like the Angels, for instance. They traded like 3 or 4 guys, but they were all separate, right? They all traded separately. They didn't package them, and I don't know if you're going to get better value by trading them separately, but in my mind, I'm thinking you get a completely different value from trading Josh Bell than you do Juan Soto. You know, maybe you get you don't get this one guy from the Padres, but maybe you go get like the number 3 prospect from, I don't know, the Red Sox. They traded for a first baseman, you know?
Oh, they didn't really trading for that. That's a bit of a stretch there.
I know, but I couldn't think of another team that traded for a first baseman. So,
the Astros.
Oh yeah,
Astros were in on Josh Bell, and it seemed like the Nationals were just asking for too much, and so for Josh Bell, and so they went and got Trey Mancini, which, yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, if we're just talking about if we just want to stay on the Nationals here real quick, I honestly think this deadline was a failure by them. Sure, you got a lot of prospects, and you got a massive influx of prospects from the Juan Soto Josh Bell trade, but that was really their only trade.
That was it. That
they traded Ehire Adrianza, and they got
rid of him. Oh, this is an absolute win.
They got him. They got a 26-year-old outfielder from the Braves.
I'm sorry, they got something other than cash considerations.
Yeah, no, I understand. That's a win, but they did not get. But Jeremy, they didn't get anything else. Like they didn't trade Steve Cishek. They didn't trade Cesar Hernandez. They didn't trade Nelson Cruz. They didn't trade Carl Edwards Jr. They didn't trade any of these players who have value. Kyle Finnegan even. Like all these players have value. They're all healthy right now. Trade them.
See, I would have packaged Juan Soto with Nelson Cruz, maybe. No.
That diminishes value.
That diminishes value there?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe.
He's making $15 million and he sucks. No offense to Nelson Cruz. I respect you as a player. You've had a great career. You have not been good in Washington. Like that's just
who has?
He'll admit that.
So many people have. I've been watching this team these last couple days. It's so depressing. Like I knew it was coming, but like, it's so bad. It's unbearable, honestly. Like, they have a third baseman missing a throw to second base.
Michael Franco?
No, not Michael Franco. Like Vargas.
Vargas? Oh yeah, the infielder they called that. That's right.
Yeah, man throws it 30 feet. He throws it to basically where the second baseman should be standing during the beginning of the play, on trying to turn to. This is. But they beat Jacob deGrom, and that's all that matters. God, they suck. They're gonna suck for so long.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're just hoping that C.J. Abrams turns into something. Mackenzie Gore stays good, and you're hoping Elijah Green, Josh Wood, and Robert Hassel III get up to the big leagues soon. That's what you're hoping for. Because then you can bump Luis Garcia to second as soon as C.J. Abrams is ready. You're hoping Carter Kieboom comes back from Tommy John, and you're hoping Rizzo and Davey don't just have a backup and kick him off this position after 2 weeks. Like, let him play. Let him ride out the whole year. And then, I mean, that's your Washington Nationals then. You're kind of just hoping Cole Henry comes up, and you're hoping Kate Cavalli come up, and whoever fifth starter they can find. Because, I mean...
Re-sign Joe Ross.
I wish they would extend Joe Ross. He has Tommy John right now. You just got Tommy John. Sign him to 2 years. Extend him for 2 years. See what he's like in the second year. Yeah. Then have him rehab under your system.
I love Joe Ross. You know I love Joe Ross. Joe Ross is my favorite player.
Joe Ross is great. As soon as he got Tommy John, I was like, give him a 2-year extension. Let him ride out his time with the organization here and see what he's like. I mean, he's not going to be like asking for a boatload of money. Give him
the vet min. He'll take the vet min.
No, he won't. Give him 2 years. Give him 2 years, $8 million.
You don't think he'll take the vet min?
Give him 2 years, $8 million. 2 years, $8 million.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I love Joe Ross. I want to keep him as an ass.
What is $8 million to the Nationals right
now? I couldn't tell you what $8 million is to the Nationals, man.
It's nothing.
That San Diego lineup though.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, here's the fun thing, Jeremy. I'm sure you were watching the 2019 wildcard game when Juan Soto got a hit off of Josh Hader, and Trent Grisham missed the ball and he had a miscue.
Mm-hmm.
All three of those names are now San Diego Padres. Which, if you told me that a month ago, I'd have been like, you're insane. But here we are. I might have bought the Josh Hader. But
really?
not. The Brewers have been shopping him forever.
That's odd.
Were you surprised that the Padres got him, or were they kind of in the background running for it?
The Padres were always up there for Soto, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Soto, yeah.
Because I remember you said Mariners and Yankees.
They were always in the running. The Padres were.
Yeah.
It was always like when it opened. It was Mariners. It was Yankees, Mariners, Mets, Padres, and then it was Yankees, Mariners, Cardinals, Padres, and the Padres just always were in there.
It came down to the
Cardinals and the Padres, yeah.
Dodgers and the Padres. Cardinals weren't they as soon as the talks got to the point where it was the Nationals wanted Dylan Carlson and their top third baseman prospect Jordan Walker, who, side note here, I'm gonna shoot it out here on the air, shooting my shot, calling my shot rather. Jordan Walker is gonna win MVP. He is so good at baseball. When he comes up, he's gonna be insane. But that's besides the point. The Cardinals didn't want to include both those players in talks, and Nats wanted both, and so it kind of fizzled out. So, I mean, in my opinion, it came down to the Dodgers and the Padres, and AJ Preller wasn't going to let what happened last year happen again when Friedman sniped Turner and Scherzer from him, so...
Yeah. So... All right. How long till the Nats are playoff contention again? What's their timeline?
Okay, so I mean, here's the thing, though, Jeremy. The Braves are going to be really good for a long time.
I know.
They just signed Austin Riley to a 10-year extension. They have Matt Olson locked up forever. Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies all locked up forever. Mm-hmm. They have a breakout catcher, William Contreras, and I mean most of those guys aren't on that big of contracts, so you can just kind of fill the holes. That bullpen's insane.
Look, man, you can. I didn't say. Oh, Lauren's here. Hi, Lauren. You didn't say. I didn't say World Series. I'm just saying competing for a wild card spot. I'm not expecting them.
Isn't I would say 5 years. That's kind of your general ballpark rebuild time for being somewhat competitive for a playoff spot.
I'll go 4. I'll go 4. Listen, they just went from the 24th worst farm system, or best, however you want to phrase it, to the 8th best. So like they've got a lot of talent, and a lot of talent that's going to be up in 2 to 3 years, barring like injuries. So like I think they can be up soon, and I think they can adjust, and that's like the year 4 then is when they're going to be ready to compete again. When they go and sign like this crazy free agent, someone like Juan Soto in free agency.
They didn't want to give him $500 million now. Maybe later. Wait till inflation goes up a bit more, and that $500 million doesn't seem too bad.
Ugh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Maybe
that'd be hilarious. Man, he must have really liked DC.
I was reading an interview he did first day with the Padres. He was like, in the back of my mind, I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't trade me.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
this is delusion. But
on your part, or
maybe in 2.5 years. Maybe in 2.5 years he comes back.
I mean, yeah. Kind of depends on like what Machado does. You got to remember they have Machado's contract on their books for a while. They have Tatis's contract.
They just up Tatis, yeah.
And I mean,
God knows what the new owner from the Nationals wants to do.
Are they going to re-sign Josh Bell because he's up after this year?
I mean, let me look at. I forget who's in their system. I'm pulling up to see who's in the San Diego Padres system to see if they have anybody like any first. Oh, that's Seattle. Oops.
No, but it's
I mean, yeah, they don't really have any prospects really anymore. I wonder why.
No, they sold the farm for Juan Soto.
I mean, the worst part is they still have 2 top 100 prospects.
What does a Josh Bell contract look like this offseason? Just
Josh Bell.
Yeah. What would you give him? You wouldn't give him as much as Matt Olson.
I would give him 4. How old is Josh Bell?
He's young. He's not 30 yet. He's like 28, 29, I think.
I'm looking. He's about to turn 30. I'd give him. I think.
What, you give him a 5-year?
I was gonna do 4.18 AAV.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Cause I mean.
That's not bad.
Because I mean, you gotta remember, like, his track record isn't like super amazing.
No, he's been so much better these last 2 years with the Nats than he was. Or I guess just this first half and the last half of last season.
The last half of last year, yeah. Because I mean, he had an 823 OPS, which isn't like terrible, but it's not like top first baseman level. I mean, he's been really good this year. He's one of the best hitters in the league.
No, I'm not saying he should be paid like Freddie Freeman or
yeah. That's what I'm
just
saying. Like,
he's not gonna. It's not chump change to get him. You're looking in the range of like a Paul Goldschmidt kind of contract.
Paul Goldschmidt is like put up MVP caliber years.
Yeah.
Josh Bell is not.
But Paul Goldschmidt got paid earlier, so his contract isn't.
I think 4.18 is fair.
Okay. Goldschmidt contract. Who was your big winner? Signed.
Okay. Do you want to talk about more?
I don't.
What? You don't want to talk about any more trades?
I want to know who you talk about it. Do the thing.
I mean, I like what the Twins did. They kind of.
Oh, the Twins, yeah.
They improved their pitching, and their division did jack shit. So I'm like, all right, I like this.
So is the Twins are your biggest winner, Shane?
Obviously, yeah.
Jeremy, who's your biggest winner?
Well, I think it's the Padres because they got Juan Soto.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Outside of that, you don't think so? I thought the Twins did a really good job. I was gonna.
But it also helps that their division didn't do anything, so they kind of won both ways.
They got 3 pitchers. They got 3 solid pitchers there. You don't. Okay, Hayden. Hayden doesn't agree with anything I'm saying. But I thought they fixed what they needed.
Oh wait, never mind. I forgot to get Fulmer. Okay, yeah. Okay, I agree. Yeah.
They fixed what they needed the most. They needed pitching. They went out and they got pitching. The Yankees did a couple things.
That was going to be my answer. It's the Yankees. It's either the Yankees or the Mariners.
Yankees did a pretty good job. I think the Mariners over. I want to talk about the Mariners. Actually.
Oh no, let's talk about the Mariners. Yeah.
Because I know you always want to talk about the Mariners.
I love talking about the Mariners.
That's the big one.
Such a good.
They gave up 1, 3, and 5.
They gave up way overpaid.
That's what I mean.
That's what happened.
Way too much.
Okay, but Jeremy, you got to remember, one, he's the premier he's the premier starting pitcher on the market. Both the Dodgers and the Yankees wanted Luis Castillo. Number two, the Mariners haven't been to the playoffs.
Yeah.
While any of us have been, actually no, Shane, they were in the playoffs while you were alive. But they haven't been to the playoffs. I
don't think so. No, I don't think they were.
2001?
Oh, wait.
2001.
No, yes.
He was born first half.
He was born July.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's
but
right.
us two, Jeremy, the Mariners haven't been to the playoffs while we have been alive. Think about how many years old you are.
I'm at least 2 years
20.
They haven't been to the playoffs since 2001. All right? Like, this is your year. You have Julio Rodriguez. He is a superstar. You have, Ty France, who's been a breakout player. He's one of the best first basemen in the league. We just talked about Josh Bell. Ty France is better. No offense to Josh Bell. J.P. Crawford's been really good. That starting pitching's already been really good. And, that bullpen, top half is really good. Bottom half could use some work. It's just such a good team. And, it's not like Luis Castillo's a rental. He's going to be there next year. And Seattle needed an ace. So, I hate to see both Marte and Arroyo go because, they're both really good prospects. And I think Arroyo's better than Marte. Way better. Write that down, But
yeah, I'm with Hayden on this one. If you haven't made 20 years, if they don't make it this year, 2021, you overpay. Yeah. You make sure you get your guy if you think he's going to get you to the playoffs.
And he is the guy. Luis Castillo was the best pitcher on the market. He pitched in Great American Ballpark, which is one of the hitter-friendly parks, and now he's going to, T-Mobile Park, which it's not it's not Kauffman where the Royals play, but it's a bit of a pitcher's park. He's going to be so good there. He's going to be so good with the Mariners. I love the trade.
What else did the Mariners do? I just.
They didn't do anything big, obviously, because they kind of spent all their prospect capital to get Castillo. But they upgraded among the margins a little bit. Is kind of the phrasing they've been using. They got Kurt Casale, who's kind of a veteran catcher. He's also he used to play with Luis Castillo. And he's caught Castillo a lot. So they're kind of getting somebody that he's familiar with, and he's gonna be that veteran present backup catcher to help Cal Riley, who has emerged as a leader for the team. They got Jake Lamb, who's a solid bench piece, and they got Matthew Boyd, who's gonna extend that pen. Matthew Boyd was the one pitcher with the Tigers for a while, and now he's been hurt, but he's coming back. So, upgraded a little bit. The Yankees had a good deadline.
The Yankees did have a good deadline. They dumped Joey Gallo's contract.
Yeah.
They got Benintendi. Mm-hmm. And then they picked up Harrison Bader, didn't they?
Yeah, that one went under the radar. Everyone talks about Montas and Lou Trevino and Scott Efros, but they just got.
Did they have one awful trade though? Montgomery or something.
That was the Harrison Bader trade. That's what we're talking.
They got
about.
rid of. They got rid of a starting pitcher and they got the best defensive center fielder in the game. So it's kind of they kind of needed that because I love Judge. I think Judge is really good at baseball. Judge is
most home runs in the league.
He like there's a chance.
I honestly
there's a chance that he breaks. There's a chance he breaks the record.
Yeah.
Like that's.
He's back on pace to break the record right now.
And if not, he's gonna be the AL home run champ.
Oh, absolutely.
At the least, I think. Like of all time. Like, yeah. So I mean, get him in right field where he's a little bit more comfortable, and he's not having to be doing as much, and let Harrison Bader kind of be that elite defender for them. I like it.
So here's the thing. Where does Benintendi play? Where's he play now? Because you've got
isn't Stanton hurt?
Is he hurt?
I think Stanton's hurt right now. So like right now, you just play him and Hicks in left and DH.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, they have. What do they have?
No, because they've got Matt Carpenter. Matt Carpenter's been playing really good this season. They've got a lot of outfielders, is the thing. They traded for 2 outfielders, and they have a crowded outfield.
Harrison Bader's hurt. He's got plantar fasciitis, but
I don't know what that means. But
it's the same thing that not Rizzo, Zimmerman had with his feet. That kept him out for so long. Benintendi's gonna play left, and Hicks, like they're kind of gonna piece it around, and kind of let. I mean, I don't know, man. That's I mean, if you're playing Benintendi on the bench, it's like the best 4th outfielder in the league. Like,
right, the Yankees have. It's a good problem to have, but it's still a problem. You know, you went and got these pieces, but you want to be able to play them, and you just don't have space. And that's an issue on its own. You know, you need to get these guys playing time. Sounds like it worked itself out with injuries as of right now, but it's still something that needs to be figured out.
See, I keep forgetting how good of. I'm gonna be honest. I forget how good of a trade deadline the Padres had outside of Soto.
Yeah, because they got Josh. They got Hader too,
and they got Brandon Drury.
They got Drury from the Reds. That's it's really, 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 really good.
That team's so good.
Yeah. Now,
and they got Cam Gallagher.
I don't know who that is.
Catcher. Good defensive catcher. I like him. But
you asked us earlier in the season, Hayden, who we thought the best baseball team was.
Yeah. And look who looks like the genius now.
Now Hayden's
I got my crystal ball.
was the Padres back then.
Tatis isn't even back yet.
Tatis is not even back yet.
And he's coming back though. He's gonna be back in like 2 weeks.
But I just wanted to re-ask that question. I'm assuming your answer is still the Padres, especially after the deadline. A lot of things have changed. I had said the Yankees back then. He had said the Padres, and I don't remember what Shane said.
I said the Dodgers.
He said the Dodgers.
That's a fair answer.
I just want to revisit that question. Trade deadline's done. There's not going to be movement. Where do we stand? Best team in baseball.
It's hard not to say Padres with you just got Juan Soto. God, I'm just like that team just got so much more stacked. It's just, I mean, the Dodgers are still phenomenal, but I think it's just hard not to go with the Padres at this point because that is a stacked bullpen.
I mean, just line up bullpen, everything, really.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you want to go?
See, as much as I want to say the Padres because Juan Soto is over there now, and Josh Bell and Manny Machado and Tatis coming back and Josh Hader and all these and Jerks and Profar having a nice little season on his own.
Talk about a top prospect finally coming and putting it all together. He was
the
like
Yankees
the number one
are
overall
still the
prospect.
best team in baseball.
And you're right.
Yeah, they've got Aaron Judge doing what Aaron Judge is doing. They've got an elite bench. We just talked about it with the problem they have over there. Their bullpen's a little iffy with injuries and stuff.
Okay.
But God, is that team just scary.
So here's the thing with the Yankees. The reason why I earlier in the year didn't believe in the Yankees, I didn't believe in their pitching. I'll be honest. I didn't believe in Nestor Cortez. I didn't think it was sustainable. I mean, Jameson has any good year. Garrett Cole, I never will think he's a good pitcher. And that bullpen, I think, was like overperforming a little bit at the start. Especially Clay Holmes, who's like, he's one of the best relief pitchers in the league, and no one really talks about him. Except for like Yankees fans, obviously. It's the best team in baseball. I mean, Garrett Cole's insane. Nestor Cortez is insane. Frankie Montas is a great pickup. And I mean, their weak link, their weakest position really right now is like shortstop.
Solid shortstop.
They have like
they've got Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He's
He has been good.
He's fine. He's a fine starter.
But they have, according to Fangraphs, the 42nd best prospect in baseball. Someone who, has been hot in the AAA right now. Oswald Peraza kind of is knocking on the door waiting to get called up. This team's going to be so good. This team is so good.
Yeah.
There's nothing really else to say there. It's just a good team.
What was the most under the radar move? Best
under the radar move or the best under the radar team? I think
move of the trade deadline.
Move of the trade deadline. Shane, do you have an answer, or am I the one who has to come up with an answer?
Yeah. Other than seeing what the Twins and Nationals did, I didn't really look too far into it.
Fair. I think the Braves picking up Raisel Iglesias. Because that kind of happened at the last minute. But, I mean, Raisel Iglesias is, really good at baseball, man. He's, really good. He's, genuinely one of the best relievers in baseball. I mean, I know I say that about a lot of people now, but, you have a lot of good relievers. One of the best, And he is. And I mean, you gave up two nobodies. You gave up a 38-year-old reliever and a 26-year-old pitcher who hasn't really put it together in the bigs, and you're getting one of the best relievers in baseball. Yeah, Raisel Iglesias right there.
That's a bullpen down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You got him. You've got what's his name from the Dodgers, Kenley Jansen.
Yep.
You have their closer from last year. I forget his name.
Will Smith is gone, Jeremy.
He's gone?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No, I didn't.
He got traded to the Houston Astros in exchange for Jake Odorizzi.
Oh.
So they got an arm, a rotation arm for their terrible closer. So Soto doesn't have to deal with him anymore.
Oh.
That's still a good bullpen. I mean, Tyler Matzik, a lot of great players.
Right.
I think another underrated move. I know I'm giving two here. For the Angels to get Logan O'Hoppe for Brandon Marsh, I think it's excellent. I think Logan O'Hoppe is arguably the best catching prospect in baseball right now, and to get him for a good defensive outfielder who strikes out 30% of the time. Yeah, that's a good move by the Angels. And real quick, I think Cincinnati had a really good deadline. Their farm system's looking really good now. So, snaps for their GM. So they just got a ton of great prospects. And they, Shane, I mean, I know it's Tyler Mahle. They overpaid for Mahle a little bit. But they got a lot of good prospects from the Twins for him. So, and then we talked about them getting that haul for Castillo. So, they had a really good deadline. I mean, you're not going to talk about it as much because they're not getting big league pieces, but they got a lot of minor league pieces. I'm going to quick look and just kind of see where Fangraphs ranks them. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they did the best farm in the league. They have that ninth best farm in the league. That's surprising. I'm a little surprised. I'm not gonna lie.
Who are besides the Nationals? would you say the Nationals are the biggest losers of this deadline, or would you say it would be somebody else?
You're gonna like this.
I don't know
So
if they call them the biggest loser.
I don't really know if you guys.
Or would you say like a team that didn't do anything is the biggest loser?
Yeah, Shade. All right, so let me tell you this story. All right, so you remember how earlier I mentioned Austin Riley got that big extension, right? That was on at the deadline. You know, out west you had a guy named I'm blanking on his name. Jeremy, who's the starting pitcher for the Padres? He's just got a big extension.
Joe Musgrove.
Joe Musgrove, thank you. He got a big extension. Same division. Daniel Bard of the Colorado Rockies, a 38-year-old reliever, got a extension from the Rockies for like $18 million over 2 years. And now I don't know how much you follow the Rockies. Not a very good team. You would think trading a really good reliever who's very old would be a solid move at the deadline. Get value out of him while you can before he falls off the cliff. Don't give him a 2-year, $18 million deal. But that's what they did, and they didn't trade away a single player. Didn't acquire a single player. That's all they did. And then they held a press conference, like not a press conference, like the GM met with the media, and they were like, the media was kind of like, hey man, like, why didn't you do anything other than give your guy an extension? And he's like, we kind of like this team. We think this is a winning team. And, we're the only team that gave out an extension at the deadline. Is true words that their general manager said. This is a real thing. I'm not making this up. This is a real thing that the Rockies front office members said. Like, I don't know, man. They're the biggest losers just for that alone. And you also didn't really extend anybody. I would also say the Nationals are big losers because they only traded away those 2 assets. Or 3 assets, I guess. If you
anytime you trade away a future Hall of Famer, that's
that's not why I'm calling them big losers. They didn't trade away anything.
Yeah.
That you have. I'm gonna quick name a bunch of expiring contracts they have, and then after this, I think I have nothing else to really say about the deadline unless Jeremy's got more questions. Expiring contracts this year, technically Nelson Cruz, Cesar Hernandez, Anibal Sanchez, Steve Cishek, Mike Franco. They had Alcides Escobar, who they just released. And guys who are like in ARB and kind of low and like approaching the end of arbitration. You got Kyle Finnegan. Trade away one of these guys, please. But they didn't. So
Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't know what else to say.
Right. It's they could have done more, but in all honesty, those names on the list, other than possibly Kyle Finnegan, you're not getting anything.
You would get something for Cishek.
Would you though?
Yeah.
You're not getting anything out of Nelson Cruz. You're not getting anything out of Anibal Sanchez. You're not getting anything out of Cesar Hernandez. You're not getting anything out of these guys.
Listen, if I'm a GM here, Cishek you would have gotten it. You're not going to get a ton, but you're getting an asset. Like, it doesn't matter if they're getting like a. It doesn't matter if they're getting a 20-year-old who's like the 30th ranked prospect in the system.
I'm not saying they need that. I'm just saying, which GM is going to say, hey, this 41-year-old Nelson Cruz over here, I'd like to give up something for him.
Okay, so let's talk about Cishek real quick. You're talking about a guy who has been unlucky when it comes to stranding runners. A guy who has, cut down on his walk rate from last year, brought up his strikeout rate. And he's playing in front of one of the worst defenses in baseball. He has a 3.94 ERA. Sure, his fastball velocity is down, but you're talking about a guy who, if I put a better defense in front of this guy or behind this guy, he's gonna perform better. I'll take a flyer. I'll give some 19-year-old kid in my low A ball system who's got a good, he's got some above our average raw power. Like, yeah, sure, have him. Like, Nelson Cruz, he's a massive clubhouse presence. He's done it on the big leagues, like in the big stage before, and he's playing for a terrible team. Maybe the 41-year-old wants to get a ring. I don't know, man. You can get something for these guys. Don't just let them sit on the roster and just waste away. Unless Nelson Cruz wants to stay with the Nats. If that's what he wanted, then yeah, I'd honor that because it's Nelson Cruz. But
I'm not saying it's the right move. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying you're not getting anything. And I think what might have happened here. Juan Soto's trade was the day of the deadline, right? That was hours before the deadline happened. It was, you don't have that was what was taking up all the attention of Rizzo. I don't think he was like, okay, let's go through these assets and see who we can get rid of while he was looking at getting rid of Juan Soto. He was trying to get rid of that first. And I don't know if at that point he had time. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here.
mm-hmm.
But, that's something that could have happened. It's not easy trading someone like that.
Yeah.
And then they had to go do all the press conferences immediately after that. And,
I mean, Jeremy, this is his full-time job.
Oh. I'm making excuses.
Trade players. You are. It's like, I'm sorry, you're not sitting there for 8 hours straight every single day negotiating about a player and like a package. Like you have downtime. Like you can be like, hey, you want Steve Cishek? Like I'll take him for like next to nothing. I'll give you what? I'll give him to you for next to nothing. I want something. Give me a prospect with like a 35 plus future value or something like that. Like that's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. And he didn't do that.
He didn't do that. You're right. Anyway, that's baseball.
It's baseball.
Yep.
It's a lot of baseball.
And an hour worth of baseball.
It's okay. It was important. There was something to talk about.
Yeah.
I've got two big stories coming out of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Two big stories. Obviously, number one, we have Desean Watson.
The recurring theme.
He was given an official 6-game suspension by the NFL, or by Judge Sue L. Robinson in her ruling. The NFL has since appealed that, and they are looking for minimum 1 season suspension with a chance of reinstating. So that's more like we were looking at when the first ruling came down as 6 games. Obviously, that's not enough, right? You can't suspend him the same. You can't suspend him for sexually assaulting 25 women or 30, however many women, 25 to 30 women.
Too many. Like, way too many.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, it's too many after 1, but
it's too many after 0. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the judge, it was only basing it off of the 4 cases that were actually testimonies that were actually done, from what I've heard.
So here's what the judge saw. This is what the judge said. The judge said in the letter, she said, "This is unprecedented. We've never seen a case like this in the league ever. Give him 6 games." What the fuck? Like, this is the same suspension that you're giving to DeAndre Hopkins for allegedly taking minor doses of some PEDs, right?
Yeah.
This is less than the suspension you're giving to Calvin Ridley for betting $1,500 on his own team to win. This is.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they do a new CBA? Like, isn't the way they do suspensions now different?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I think
I didn't
from
read
what
that part of the CBA.
Yeah, since
really any
from
of the
what
CBA.
I've like listened to, like this was like the first, like it's last time it was like all through the NFL decided like who gets what suspension. Because of the new CBA, Desean Watson suspension was decided by a judge, and then the NFL can decide whether or not they agree with that suspension.
Right.
So
and that's a good system.
Yeah.
Except
So I think
when it doesn't work like this.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like it's just different system, different results. So I'm just saying, like previously it was all NFL. Now this is a judge doing it, and the NFL. So like the new system is working. We could be like, all right, that's bullshit. Give them a bigger suspension.
Right. And they've appointed a judge. The NFLPA has, I think, until tonight to respond. So the thought is this could go to federal court. And then all the things that were private are going to come out now because, federal court. This is all seen. It's going to have coverage and all this.
It's just disgusting.
It is. And it's even more disgusting.
I don't know how you can go to training camp knowing that your quarterback has allegedly sexually assaulted over 20
it's
women.
Not even really.
I don't know how you can go to training camp knowing your teammate.
Yeah.
It's like
because basically what the judge said is this is despicable, this is deplorable what he has done.
6 games.
6 games. What she is saying is he has done these things 6 games. She is not saying he is innocent, because if they were saying he's innocent, they give him nothing, right? That's what happens. Yeah. They give him nothing if he's innocent. He obviously is not. They give him 6 games. This is a massive issue.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that just you either go in or you say he's done nothing. And they've said that he's done something, so you can't go halfway. You can't just cut it off halfway. You have to actually enforce this. And I'm glad that Roger Goodell did appeal this. Something's going to happen. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, that something that he's actually going to get practically barred from the league, okay? But I don't know. Just a matter of time to see these things.
Yeah. Like at this point, we're just beating a dead horse at this point. Just get this guy suspended, done with the league, whatever.
The NFL wants minimum of a year. And I agree. Minimum of a year.
Which is still too little, honestly.
Yeah, he should
be in
barred.
jail.
He should be barred for the league. He shouldn't be able to play ever again. I think the Cleveland contract should be voided.
But it's probably not going to happen.
No, he signed a contract, so it's not. It's fully guaranteed too. Those dumbasses fully guaranteed that shit.
And they traded for it. They didn't need to trade him.
They didn't need to give him the biggest contract in NFL history either. Yeah. They didn't need to do that.
You didn't need to give up 3 first-round picks knowing you were going through all this.
But they did their due diligence, remember?
Can we change? I want to talk about something. This is just... I hate this so much.
All right. Other big topic in the NFL. Dolphins. We've talked about the Dolphins. Stephen Ross, the owner, he was alleged by Brian Flores that he was paid for tanking. And it came out this week that they did a little investigation into that based on the lawsuit. It found no evidence of tanking, but that is probably thanks to Flores. You watched that 2019 season. They weren't trying to win. They were trying to lose, but Flores willed that team to 5 wins. So it made it look like they would be competitive at the end. But they did find evidence of tampering. And this is from a story that came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Involving Tom Brady and Sean Payton. And it's not the first time. This tampering goes back to when Tom Brady was a free agent for the first time. So they've tried to lure him in. Do you remember the alleged quarterback conversation they had on the boat in the lawsuit? I don't know if you remember that.
Was it something about offering partial ownership?
No, that was this year. That was something else. But in the Flores lawsuit, allegedly Stephen Ross invited him onto a boat, and there was a quarterback there. And Flores basically said, "I'm leaving because this is tampering." It's Tom Brady. The quarterback that was on the boat was Tom Brady. So they did a little digging. There's tampering there, and there's tampering, obviously, with what you just mentioned with buying the team, involved with Sean Payton as well. And in that effect, the Dolphins were given Stephen Ross, the owner, was suspended from the NFL until October. So that's not that bad. He was fined $1.5 million. Also not that bad because he's a billionaire. But here comes the kicker. They were docked their first round pick next year and their third round pick the year after that. They just lost a first round pick because of this idiot. They put it as what they said, unprecedented levels of tampering here. And they don't want that. They don't want it.
So, like, what exactly did they do besides have conversations?
They tried to lure him to Miami when you weren't allowed to.
Oh, okay,
gotcha. Where you can negotiate with people.
Yeah.
And there's all that. And they tried to lure him to Miami, and it didn't happen. But they've done it multiple times now.
Yeah.
So, it's one of these things. They lost a first round pick. You don't lose. You know how valuable a first round pick is?
Oh, yeah.
In the NFL? You just lost a future superstar because of this. Now, this is obviously all a deterrent effort to stop something like this from ever happening again. But it's a lot, right? And I don't know. What do you guys?
They better hope this team does well.
Isn't Fergie like their most majority owner now? Fergie?
No, he's not. He's not kicked out of the league. He's just suspended.
Yeah, but for like the year or whatever, like the however many months. Isn't Fergie now like the majority owner?
Is it really? Hold on.
I believe.
Dolphins. Let me look this up. Never mind. Who owns 5% of the Dolphins? A lot of people own 5% of the Dolphins. Doesn't really matter. Celebrity owners. Here it is.
On Tuesday morning.
Fergie.
The highest ranking team owner now appears to be Fergie. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. We love that.
Yeah. This is according to The Spun, which I'm assuming is a report reputable.
Sounds reputable. The Spun?
Yeah. It's a offset of Sports Illustrated.
Oh. Wow. Okay. Good for them. I don't know. With that punishment, what do you think? Was that what needed to happen? Was it too much? Was it too little? What?
I mean, if you're tampering, you got to set a precedent,
Right. And
I'm just surprised the NFL gave a pretty good punishment for once. I'm like, yeah, that seems pretty about where it should be. And then the Dolphins better hope with the God that Tua works out, or this is just going to be an awful, awful turn of events.
What do you mean? Tua already has worked out.
Yeah, Tua's the GOAT.
Yeah, he's the best QB in Florida.
It's true. I've yet to see a better.
I don't know why you're laughing.
No, it was not. The pick the Dolphins lost was not the one they got from trading to the Niners. They lost their 2023 first round pick. So whatever whatever first round pick they had in 2023, they lost it. Actually, you know what? Didn't they? No, they didn't.
I don't know.
Because I know they traded the first for Tyreek Hill, but I think that was this draft, right?
They had some kind of first rounder. They didn't lose that one in this. They lost whatever first rounder they had.
Yeah.
You can't take away a draft pick that they don't already control. So, yeah.
They should void like the whatever pick. Like if they don't have a pick, they should just void that one. If they trade it to another team, I think it'd be really funny. This doesn't hurt you at all.
Just go punish the Chiefs for what they did.
See, this guy gets it.
Yeah. All right, Hayden.
Jeremy.
Or Shane. Do you have hockey?
Yeah.
Hockey you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. There was a huge trade that we never really talked about on the show yet. The Matthew Tkachuk trade.
The Matthew Tkachuk trade.
Yeah. So after Johnny Gaudreau left Calgary, their huge superstar, after he signed somewhere else, his line mate was like, "Yeah, if he's not on the team, I don't want to play for this team either. So trade me." So he gets traded to the Florida Panthers for Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, a 2025 first-round pick, and prospect Cole Schwint.
Schwint?
Yeah.
It's a good name.
And at first, this seemed like a lot because Jonathan Huberdeau put up 100 points last season. So he's pretty much on, like, currently he's point-wise as good as Tkachuk. And then you also get a really good defenseman and a first-round pick. So at first, it seems like a huge overpay. But if you look into it, Jonathan Huberdeau has 1 year left on his contract, and Weegar has 1 year left on his contract. So they're pretty much only good for one season. So I'm like, all right, this doesn't seem as bad anymore. And then Jonathan Huberdeau signs a 8-year contract extension. So they pretty much just traded 100-point players, except Matthew Tkachuk is far younger. He's like in his mid-20s, while Huberdeau had just turned 30. So the last 4 or 5 years of that deal is going to be awful because you're going to be paid. If he falls off production-wise, that's going to be a lot of money.
I mean, how many years does he have? How many years does he have left on his contract?
Huberdeau or
yeah, Huberdeau.
So he's getting paid like $6 point something million this year, and then he's getting paid 10.5 for the next 8 years.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't know. Like the way you phrased it was like, or the way I understood the trade was that Huberdeau. I mean, he had like years left, but it wasn't like that much.
Yeah, he had a year left on his contract. So after this season, he could have been a free agent.
And so then they gave him a $10.5 mil AV for 10 years.
For 8 years.
8 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's going to be signed until age 38?
Yeah.
Fun. Okay.
And then Mackenzie Weegar has yet to re-sign. Like, who knows if he's going to re-sign, but he's a very valuable defenseman. He's like 28, 29.
Uh-huh.
So really, really good defenseman. It's just whether or not he re-signs to like get as much value out of him as you can. That 2025 first-round pick of like first-round picks, again, as we've mentioned before, really, really valuable. It's like a future NHLer you possibly have there. And then Florida gets Matthew Tkachuk. And I think he's a good fit because Barkov is one of the best two-way centers in the league. He has a very similar style to Elias Lindholm, who played really well with Tkachuk. So I think that's a good value-wise. But Florida got worse, unquestionably, out of this trade because you give up a top defenseman and a top forward just to have security for another top forward for the next in his prime for the next 8 years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, wait, so...
And another first round pick.
So whatchamacallit, they gave up This is a forward that they gave up. Is that a prospect, right?
Cole Schwint.
Yeah, he's a prospect.
He's kind of a throw-in. Like, he was a former 3rd or 4th rounder. So it's like, who knows what that could turn into.
I thought you said they gave up a really good forward.
Yeah, Jonathan Huberdeau. He put up 100 points last season.
I thought he was a defenseman.
No.
Oh, Mackenzie Weegar's the defenseman.
Okay, sorry. There's so many names.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds like people made an oopsie whoopsies. That's
wow. That was really.
That's my insightful
really
analysis.
Thoughtful.
Yeah.
Hayden,
Yeah.
this is why we keep you around.
Thank you.
For this hockey analysis over here.
What can I say?
So I just think, because I don't think Florida was going to be able to keep both of those guys after this season. They would have to either pick one or the other. And so you chose to be worse this season just to be better in the long run with Matthew Tkachuk.
Are the Flames still competing?
Yes, they are, since they gave Huberdeau that 8-year extension.
No. They're trying to compete. Shane.
Yeah, they're trying to compete.
Are they still competing?
No, they are not contenders in my book.
Okay.
They're a playoff team, but they're not gonna win the cup just because that division's very weak.
You never know.
Yeah.
The playoffs.
Anything can happen in the playoffs.
Because
Markstrom gets hot, you know?
Yeah. It's just their defense is really good. Like, they have top 5 defensive core in the league. And then you have a Vezina caliber goalie. It's just you just lost your 2 best forwards who both had over 100 points this season. You replaced one with Huberdeau, but you're still missing 100 points of production compared to last season. So who's going to make up for that? I would say a playoff team, but they're not contenders in my book. I still think the Leafs, but it's the Leafs. But I still think the Leafs are better. I still think Tampa's better.
Okay, so here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is then. Were both of those teams contenders last year?
Yes.
They both lost the trade.
They both lost. Simply because, they both. It's just a lot of opinions I've heard. It's like they just both got so much worse this offseason.
Well, I mean, I think they're worse long term, but I mean, they've improved in the short term, right?
Yeah, so their forward core, they're all like 26 years old.
I am so glad you got which team he was talking about with the whatchamacallit, because I could not decipher that.
No, Shane and I are in the same language.
Yeah.
We're besties, all right? What can I say?
Oh, yeah, because he was talking about Florida. Because
I don't think he was.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Does that change your answer?
Because, wait.
So
Let me
Florida.
pull up this trade real quick.
Yeah. Florida will be better in the long run, but it's just you give up being really good this season to be better for the next few seasons. Like, you give up being a true contender this season just to be a playoff team for the next however many years. Versus, and then Calgary, after losing Johnny Gaudreau, you should have just blew it up right then and there. You lose someone who could have been a league MVP. I think after that, you should have just traded everybody away to try to tank, because this draft class was going to be really good this season, allegedly. So I would have tried to get one of those top prospects and then just start the rebuild right then and there. But Calgary still wants to be competitive.
Yeah, but Calgary hasn't been good in forever.
Calgary,
don't they want to be good while they can be good?
They've been a playoff team, or a borderline playoff team. And then this was the year where everything came together.
Right,
and then Johnny Gaudreau just leaves.
They've been a playoff team, but they haven't been a playoff team, you know?
Yeah.
And now,
so they tasted success and they just want to hold on to it for as long as you can. But after you lose your best player, I would have just thrown my hands up in the air. I'm like, we tried. We got to start over. You don't come across Yeah.
From everything you've said, it sounds like the Flames are going to win this in the short term, but long term,
yeah,
the Panthers are going to be the winners.
How old is Huberdeau? How old is he?
30.
On the dot, he just turned 30 today. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
He's 29.
Boo. Shane was wrong. Boo.
He was wrong. He's born on June 4th, 1993.
Yo, that's like...
In Saint Jeremy, QC. Is that Quebec? I think it's Quebec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 6'1", 202 pounds. His mother's maiden name is also Huberdeau. His first pet was named Flame.
Wait, his mother's maiden name was Huberdeau? I got some bad news for you, Hayden.
Hey, I'm backwards in Quebec, alright?
All right, Jeremy, so like what are your thoughts overall of all the information I've spewed on you?
Of all the information you spewed on me, my thoughts overall?
Yeah, do you think
that was
Florida...
a lot of information you've spewed on me. No, I think what we've determined out of this is that both of these teams took a step backwards this offseason, and that you hate the Flames and you want them to suck forever because you want them to blow it up the second they have anything good. And I think I've learned that you like the Panthers. You're high on the Panthers than most people are, and that you just hate Canada. That's just what I've taken away from this conversation. Shane hates Canada, especially Alberta. Anything that has to do with Alberta, Canada, he despises.
He actually wants Alberta kicked out of Canada.
Yeah,
he wants to be its own separate country. He wants to be its own separate country, and then he wants them to reinvade it.
Exactly. He wants Canada to immediately nuke it. Just so the Flames can never actually do anything.
Exactly.
So
this whole bit was just so profess how much I hate the Flames.
This is what I've taken away from this conversation.
I despise the Flames. Yes.
Also the Oilers.
And the Oilers. They don't deserve Connor McDavid.
Mm-hmm. See, exactly.
So where do the Oilers play?
Alberta.
They also play in Alberta.
It's the Battle of Alberta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane, where do they play?
Alberta.
Where do they play, Shane?
Shane, where do they play?
Oh, Edmonton. Yeah. I pronounced it correctly, yeah.
This is a historic moment.
I know. I've practiced a lot.
He looks in the mirror every single day.
Edmonton.
I'm so proud of you, Shane.
Thank you. I'm proud of me, too. Couldn't have done it without you.
Oh.
And then the Ducks did something, too.
The Ducks did something?
Yeah. They signed a 1-year deal for John Klingberg.
John Klingberg got signed?
Yeah, for a 1 year, $7 million.
All right.
So, yeah, the Ducks needed defensive depth. Getting John Klingberg is exactly what they needed, even though it's only a 1-year deal. They needed someone to be a power play quarterback for them. So I think Klingberg wanted a longer deal with more money, but teams didn't want to give it to him. So this is kind of like a 1-year prove-it deal for him.
You know, all I'm hearing is the Ducks are going all the way this time, baby.
Let's go!
I wouldn't get your hopes up yet. Oh, but I'm really
too late. My hopes are already up there.
I put my entire life savings on the Ducks winning it all. Shane, if it's not true, I'm coming for you.
Shane, if it's not true, you owe Hayden $8.
That's twice my life savings.
But I will say Mason McTavish, I think he's winning Rookie of the Year. I am very high on this guy. And he's also going to be playing, if you can watch it, it's on NHL Network, the World Junior Tournament. He's going to be playing for Team Canada.
I thought they canceled that.
It's got rescheduled for the summer.
No, I thought they canceled it because of the whole Canada situation.
No, they're still playing the whole. Again, they're still waiting on like an investigation for Hockey Canada. So that's a good segue. So Hockey Canada admits
Shane out here, like, can we stop talking about Desean Watson? Let's talk about a systemic thing.
Speaking of sexual assault,
let's talk about the even more systemic issue.
Yeah, let's talk about even more sexual assault. So Hockey Canada is like the hockey organization that runs like all like youth programs up there, because like USA Hockey has its thing here, so it's kind of the equivalent to that. And there was a situation that came out in 2018 where members of the 2018 World Junior Team and CHL players allegedly sexually assaulted this girl. And it's again ongoing investigation. But it's also brought to light how many sexual assault allegations they've covered up. I believe I've heard on the Staff and Graph podcast that since 1989, there have been 21 cases of sexual assault that have been covered up by Hockey Canada. And the money that is used to help cover up those for settlements has been used by a fund that comes from dues that youth players pay. So the 30-something bucks you pay for registration for Hockey Canada has been being used to pay off used as hush money for the most part. So of course everyone's calling for all the leadership in Hockey Canada to be replaced. And there's been a huge question about hockey culture and how toxic it is. And I will be the first to tell you, yes, there is a culture problem in ice hockey. It's very toxic. Yeah, like if you look in any like sport, there's going to be areas where it's going to be very toxic, and hockey's not the exception. I've definitely seen my fair share of parts where it's very toxic.
Not to take away from this, but isn't like the University of Michigan?
Yeah.
Like the head coach is being investigated for creating a toxic environment.
Yeah, he got fired. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like,
there's still a lot of old school hockey mentality and just where it's all that. It's just disgusting.
Yeah.
And I think also the issue is it's just like you hype up these, like, it's ridiculously young how hyped up these prospects get. Because like at 14, like you're already getting looked at as a potential NHL player in Canada. Like it's insane how much hype they get at such a young age. And like all that stuff could like go straight to your head if you don't have the right mentorship around you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, it's just, I am no expert on how to fix culture, but it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. And I am well aware of all the things that are going on with it. But as of right now, they're not canceling the Team Canada tournament.
They didn't even suspend Team Canada? I thought they'd at least suspend them.
Again, it's just kind of, you can't really blame the current players for actions of the past. It's not really about the
players. It's more about the organization.
Setting a precedent, yeah.
Like I understand you don't want to punish the players, but it's more about punishing the organization that did this, because it's not like the Desean Watson case where the Browns aren't at fault. It's more like the situation. It's more like the situation in the Olympics with Russia, right? Where that is a systemic thing. It's obviously not the same issue, but it's closer to that in scale, I guess, where the organization is covering all this up. So the organization is the one, along with the people that did it, that should be punished. It's not like a solo thing where one guy did this and only that guy should be punished. You know, it's more than that, is what I'm saying. And hopefully some kind of suspension is doled out to Team Canada, but obviously Canada's hockey central. So that's going to be harder to do.
It's going to be hard to, and again, it's just like, it's just a tricky situation because like I don't want to punish these current players who like had nothing to do with these sexual assault incidents to be I would just hate to see these players not being able to play for things out of their control. But again, that's kind of currently what the Russians are going through with their government right now.
It's obviously not the greatest solution, but you could do something similar to that.
And it's like the World Juniors is also separate from Hockey Canada. So yeah, the World Juniors could have definitely said, yeah, because of your sexual assault allegations, we're going to suspend you for this year's tournament. But it's hosted in Canada right now.
Right.
So that's kind of, and again, it's still an ongoing investigation. So maybe when more stuff comes out about it's more concrete, maybe Canada gets a suspension.
All right. Well, hopefully justice is served.
Yeah.
In all cases. Yeah. Do you have anything else for us, Shane?
No, it's just the again, World Juniors, very fun hockey tournament. You get to see all these future NHL stars compete for their nation. I highly encourage you to watch. There's some very fun hockey, and you get to see some of your, like, if you're aware of some of the prospects who are on certain teams, you can like watch them. I know, like I said, Mason McTavish, really good. I highly encourage you to watch Team Canada and look for Mason McTavish because he's going to be insane. And then Connor Bedard, he's projected to go first overall next season. The kid is filthy. Like, look out for him. I don't know if anybody on the Caps or anyone high profile on the Caps are playing right now, but I know the Minnesota Wild have a ton of players playing, so I'm very excited to watch.
All right, that's gonna be good.
So good.
Hayden.
Jeremy.
Hayden.
Jeremy.
It's about time for my favorite segment of the week.
What's that?
Of the year. It's a little segment that I lovingly like to call Hayden's Question of the Week.
Never heard of it.
No.
Have we done this before?
I've got a whole graphic for it. You want to see it?
I mean, listen. I'm a first-time caller, long-time listener here. I've never heard of this segment before.
Oh, that's
neither.
Crazy.
That's wild.
We've got a whole graphic for this.
Hey, Jeremy, I don't think you realize that doesn't load in at all. You see,
Does it?
hard week, hard week, and then there's my eyes.
But
they're
they're
cute
staring
eyes.
into your soul. They're staring into your soul.
I mean, what can I say? I have nice eyes.
Like, oh my God, he has a question for me.
I do have a question this week. So, Jeremy, this little caveat to my question is very important. Any previous picks aside, whatever you've said before, what is the World Series matchup this year? Take anything you've said aside. Don't have that influence your decision at all.
I don't even remember. I don't think you've ever asked us this question.
I know. We've talked about World Series picks before.
I don't remember.
We have. Good. Because I know you always pick, like, whatchamacallit? Who's in the World Series?
All right. World Series matchup this year.
Yeah. No, next year, actually. No, yeah, this year.
Out of the NL, we have a team by the name of the Mets.
The Mets. It's always been the Mets.
It's always been the Mets. It always was the Mets.
Uh-huh.
And out of the AL,
I mean, you know who you want to say.
I do. We're gonna say the Yankees. All right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a New York matchup.
Yeah. Subway Series.
World Series.
Yeah.
Look, Jacob deGrom is back. Okay.
Yeah. He is back.
The Mets. Look, they've been really good without Jacob deGrom.
They happen.
And now they get Jacob deGrom, and
Listen, Jeremy, all I have to say, Jacob deGrom is washed. Did you see what the Washington Nationals, the worst record in baseball, Washington Nationals, did to Jacob deGrom?
They had one run.
Exactly. Good enough, baby. Shane?
Let's go with Dodgers Yankees.
Dodgers, Yankees. Large markets.
Yeah.
Big boys.
Big market teams. It's like the most baseball-y, like what everyone thinks baseball is answer. So everyone's always like, it's always the big market teams or pay for a ring. It's gonna be hilarious. I love it. Thank you. You guys ready?
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
So I'm surprised. I mean, I understand why you guys say the Yankees. But I mean, there's a team that's like kind of comparably good to them in the AL. The Houston Astros.
See, I was thinking about the Astros.
Really good.
It's like, nah.
I mean, they upgraded at first. They got Christian Vasquez. I mean, we didn't talk about during the baseball segment. But he's a really good catcher. They've made a lot of upgrades. Really good team.
Who's that? Alvarez or
Yordan Alvarez is insane. Jose Altuve is having a really good year. Bregman's been solid. Jerry Pena might win Rookie of the Year, depending on how this whole thing with Julio Rodriguez's hand goes. But Houston Astros in the AL. And
Yeah, the NL's a tough.
No, I'm picking between two, and they happen to both be the suitors for Juan Soto. I think it's either the Padres or the Cardinals. And I think seeing Soto take on Verlander again in the World Series would be really fun. I think Machado, Tatis, Soto in the World Series would be really fun. And I think that lineup's really good. The pitching exists.
It does exist.
You're right.
And Hader doesn't have this really good generational Hall of Fame talent to that's lefty to blow the lead to. So I'm gonna go with the Padres, Houston, San Diego World Series. Make it happen.
That'd be fun. I think that'd be a good World Series.
Yeah. I mean, Houston's a dynasty, so.
Yeah.
Despite the scandals.
Despite the scandals, they're a dynasty, Jeremy. The team's a dynasty. They've been really good. I mean, they're a dynasty without the championship. Is that better?
Yeah.
Like if you get so I think if you can be a dynasty without winning a championship, they're a dynasty. If you qualify them winning a ton of championships, then they're not a dynasty. But
we've had this conversation. Would you consider? I know you don't know about this. Would you consider the Jim Kelly Bills to be a dynasty?
No.
The team that went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost all of them.
Because the documentary I saw about it, it was just kind of like some of those Super Bowls, they weren't expected to make it. It's not like they were the favorite in every single one, or like they were like, oh, there's like a good chance they were going to win in every single one. So I didn't really think of them as dynasties.
Right. That's the thing. If they're not a dynasty, you can't be a dynasty without championships.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's got to be that
2017.
There's got to be that feeling of, oh, how the heck are we going to beat these guys year in and year out?
I think beating the Houston. I think that's a valid. I think that's
and like getting that championship
is like, oh god, very close to going down in history as a dynasty.
I think with the Astros is I feel like they're like always going to be the team to beat. Like if you're going to win the World Series, you have to beat the Astros.
I don't want to harp on this for too long.
For the Kingmakers.
But I think they're close. I think if dynasty levels up here, if the dynasty levels up here, I think the Astros are about here.
Yeah.
Right? I think they're so close. I think I just need to see it for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Or maybe another championship. I don't know. But they need something. They need something to say, hey, Dynasty. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they can do, but
Okay, real quick, Jeremy. If Dusty doesn't win it this year, do you think, like, and he takes him to the World Series, do you think they go with their manager?
do you what?
If, like, Dusty, like, if he gets them to the World Series and they don't win it this year, do you think they go and try to find a new manager?
That sounds very Dusty Baker.
Because, I mean, he made it. They were in the World Series last year. They lost in the ALCS the year before.
I'm going to say no, but that sounds very Dusty Baker. That sounds like exactly like something that would happen to him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that was just something I was curious to see what you thought about that.
I don't think there's a reason to, honestly.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no reason to, but I mean,
I don't think there
the
was
Nats
a reason
fired
for
him.
the Nats. I don't think there was a reason for the Nats to get rid of him.
Oh, the Nats weren't. I mean, they were good. They weren't like. No.
Yeah, I don't think there was a reason for them to get rid of him. Obviously, it worked out for them, but I don't think there was a reason for the Nats to get rid of him.
Yeah.
But they did.
It
happened. Anyway. Thank you for listening and watching to the Triple Threat Show. Quick reminders before we send off. Go check out the Instagram. Shane's doing a really cool series over there, breaking down all the NHL teams, off seasons and stuff. Not all of them, but he's making his way through a lot of them.
Yeah.
That's a super cool series.
I keep getting notifications from the Arizona State University student life stuff.
Yeah, they're like, oh, go share it to whatever.
Yeah.
It's super cool, and I think that deserves a little more traction. I know there's only one person watching right now, but I think that's a super cool thing that he's doing. So go check that out on the Instagram at the Triple Threat Show.
Really informative too. Like, it's not just like kind of like sloppily put together.
Other than that, thank you so much for watching.
Good takes.
I have been Jeremy Lapidus, your host, joined as always by my two friends and co-hosts,
Shane Brisland
and
Hayden Raymer.
Thank you so much. Go check out